The time that Diablo Immortal went mobile, the pay-to-win nightmare. This seems like gonna be a good one.
MMOs and action RPGs have become one of the most influential genres in gaming history. World of Warcraft, Dungeon Fighter Online, Zelda, Dark Souls, RuneScape, Goat Simulator.
Okay.
But one title stands out among the rest. One that single-handedly changed the genre forever. Diablo. A game so dark and atmospheric that it was known as being the inverse of everything of its time. And a game so renowned for revolutionizing the online gaming scene that all further MMOs wouldn't exist without Diablo's direct influence.
In other words, the GOAT. I still need to play the Diablo 1 and 2.
And after 2 decades of Diablo ruling the now dubbed dungeon crawler genre, its creator, Blizzard Entertainment, sought to bring a brand new installment of this revolutionary franchise into the world. One that's announcement brought 40,000 people from all across the globe to Blizzard's biggest annual gaming convention, BlizzCon 2018. And one that's release would forever go down in history as one of the worst and most aggressive pay-to-win games ever made, serving as the final nail in Blizzard's cold coffin and spawning one of the most iconic clips from a gaming convention ever recorded.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones.
But to understand just
Oh my god, like, Jesus, back in the day, I didn't even play Diablo Immortal or any other Diablo, and I saw this, and I was like really excited because at this time there was rumors that Diablo 4 was coming, and everyone was so freaking excited that Diablo 4 was gonna come and it was gonna be announced. So whenever people came, or Blizzard in this case, and came with Diablo Immortal, a mobile phone, everyone was absolutely shocked, man.
Just how bad Diablo Immortal's release was, the impact it's had on the gaming industry, and just how exactly the game got to that state in the first place, we're gonna have to go back to the year is 1997. Blizzard has just released Diablo 1, and it's a smashing success, being the then blossoming company's third biggest hit in just 4 years. You see, at the
Blizzard
time,
was a banger.
action RPGs were a dying genre, with those that remained being heavily fantasy-based like Zelda or Final Fantasy. But Diablo, it was dark, edgy, and addictive. Descend the levels of hell to fight Satan himself, immediately becoming the most downloaded PC game in the United States, and reached first place in PC Data's monthly computer sales chart.
Man, it was like this big, guys, like, because I remember like being a kid, and I had like this other guy that was like way older than me, and I remember he used to play Diablo on his PC, and I used to just like sit next to him and just watch, but I didn't understand anything. I didn't know how it works, but I remember exactly him playing Diablo 1.
With over 2 million copies sold within just the first 2 years of its release, and reaching a high of 94 out of 100 on Metacritic. The dungeons are so well designed that first-time players didn't even know they were randomly generated, and with plenty of quests, character classes, and interesting NPCs, with unique enemies to each playthrough, a plethora of magical items and weapons, and flawless multiplayer modes, the replay value was unlike anything ever seen before, with an ending twist like no other. It had single-handedly revived the genre and revolutionized the industry.
I am glad he actually didn't spoil like that part for me, because if we had spoiled that, maybe I was not gonna go and play Diablo 1.
It was perfect. But Diablo didn't just revolutionize the gaming world through its gameplay, it also introduced a brand new function into the gaming space: Blizzard's BattleNet.
Okay.
You see, prior to Diablo, you had to go through a third-party software and type in IP addresses, and jump through a bunch of flaming hoops while reciting the entirety of Dante's Inferno backwards. With BattleNet, all you had to do was press one button. Then boom, you're in. Playing with friends was
But Blizzard in this stage, it was so ahead of his time, man. It was like literally demolish everyone. And what happened, guys? What happened?
It's easier than ever, and it allowed an entire online economy to flourish. Blizzard had outdone themselves. Then, in the year 2000, Diablo 2 released, and they had done it again. It was bigger, better, edgier. A 4-act storyline, new weapon systems, even more dungeons and quests, even more unique enemies, even more character classes, even better online multiplayer. It was awarded PC Game of the Year, PC RPG of the Year, and Game of the Year. Selling over 2 million copies in just 2 months, becoming the fastest selling computer game ever of its time. And just
wait, what? Diablo 2 was this massive? I mean, I know it was big back then, but not this big.
A year later, an entire expansion with a whole new act and 2 more character classes had released, making the game
I remember this expansion.
Better. Diablo had been solidified as one of the most influential and iconic series of all time. Then, after an entire decade of the now gigantic cult following waiting for a new installment in the franchise, Diablo 3 was announced. And
I was hyped, man.
Different.
I was hyped back then.
Online, and upon release, it simply didn't work. Players couldn't log in, enemies were too difficult, the game too repetitive, the in-game economy was entirely broken, the endgame was lacking, it was a mess.
So, in other words, the same problem as we're having now with the Diablo 4.
Received mostly positive reviews from critics, fans were not happy. It took years for Blizzard to get the game up on its feet, but it never truly felt like Diablo. It was brighter, flawed, and had taken too long to prove its value. Fans were craving a retry, a new entry into the franchise that would return Diablo to its roots, and a new game that would revolutionize the industry once again. The year is now 2018. It's been over 2 decades since the original Diablo released, and rumors are beginning to surface. A new Diablo game was in the works in Blizzard's darkest depths, and with BlizzCon coming up in just a few months, fans were getting excited. Tens of thousands of people booked their flights, paid for their hotels, and prepared for the good news. And on November 2nd, with over 40,000 attendees and over 10 million streaming the event online, during BlizzCon's big opening ceremony, the rumors...
This, I feel like, was one of the biggest flops, man, presentations. I mean, everyone remembers this if you are a Blizzard fan, and that's exactly what I just stated. Everyone at this conference, in this moment in time, they were expecting Diablo 4 announcement. This is it. This was the moment. Everyone was so excited.
These were confirmed to be true. Blizzard welcomes Wyatt Chang on stage, and he begins the announcement.
BlizzCon, we love Diablo. So we knew we want to use mobile devices as the platform for a new Diablo game.
Wait, what?
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Diablo, you know, the game that's been a staple of the PC genre ever since the dawn of its creation.
I feel if I had to do it in one way, and I'm pretty sure that maybe Blizzard looks back on this and they think that, you know what, we absolutely fucked it up. I think the way they should have done, they should have teased that there is maybe a Diablo 4 into works, that it may be coming in the few years. But for the meantime, there's also this other game that we're gonna launch that is gonna be mobile only. And I feel like in that way, you could probably satisfy both audiences. You're still gonna have some backlash, but not a backlash like we had
the game that had primarily remained PC for the past 2 decades, the game that was critically acclaimed as PC Game of the Year, and you want to make it a mobile game? People were not happy.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have
Everyone's got a
phones,
phone.
right?
You can play on your tablet too.
Oh boy. So it was
Like I just think like obviously those guys on the stage are in a very awkward position, but how can you not expect that you're gonna have this kind of backlash? I just don't understand. Like, you know, like it was obvious. As long as you were a player, you knew like the feeling in the room, what people wanted to see, and I feel like they just trolled those guys into the wolves, man.
was a free mobile game. Well, maybe that wouldn't be too bad. Mobile gaming had been doing fine over the past decade, and phones had become infinitely better at processing graphics and larger games over that time span. It looked like it had an interesting story too, bridging the plots of Diablo 2 and 3, and the mechanics looked faithful yet refreshing. So maybe there was some hope after all. But Blizzard isn't known for making many mobile games. Their main prior attempt was bringing Hearthstone to mobile back in 2015, and that launch didn't exactly go much better than Diablo 3's.
I didn't even know
that
this.
was a virtual card game, not an entire randomly generated dungeon crawler RPG. But wait, this time they were having help? Who'd they choose to work with? Their Chinese publisher NetEase? Hey, aren't they the ones that constantly oversaturate their own market by releasing thousands of knockoffs of popular games per year and effectively kill their own franchises? Oh boy. Things weren't looking too great, and it was slated to release next year.
The release.
Just like all good modern games, Diablo Immortal was delayed. A lot. Year upon year would pass, delay after delay after delay.
Oh my god.
Information about the game was scarce.
So is this why that Echo like, because Echo has been creating content for like 5 years, so maybe that is the reason why, because there were like so many delays. Because I think he said to me that he's been creating content for 5 years since alpha. So Jesus.
And fans wondered if it even existed at all. Although a few drops of information had been surfacing. And after a few more months, news from the exclusive alpha in Australia was beginning to spread.
Okay.
And things weren't looking too bad. Is that the classic edgy tone?
Yeah, the
Returning
game doesn't
iconic
look bad.
characters, a decent warband system, competitive.
I feel like, to be fair, the warband system, I'm kind of sad that they are trying to kill it by not making like rewarding, but I really feel like the warband system is one of the best features that Diablo Immortal had.
Of PvP, and there'd be a whole 60 levels? Yeah, this was looking good. And the game was finally on track for its new release date, a whole 4 years after its announcement. And on April 25th, 2022, our good old friend Wyatt Chang was back with a brand new release date trailer. It was coming in about a month. And oh yeah, you'd also be able to play it on PC.
This here, it was such a good move. Even though the PC version, we know that is kind of terrible compared to the mobile, at least we can actually play it. And look at this, the fans. Yeah, absolutely.
Diablo was officially
such a good
back,
move.
and it was looking better than ever.
If this was never on the Battle.net on the PC, I will not be here playing Diablo Immortal. Never. Never in a lifetime I will go out of my way to download it on a mobile, because I am not a mobile gamer. I like to play on the mobile whenever I am a casual, like I'm just watching a show or something, I'm just chilling. But in general, I don't like to play mobile games like with my family or something like that. I'd rather sit here, I play, and when I'm off the PC, you know, I just go enjoy my life. So if this was not near Diablo 4, I will never be playing. So great move.
And June 2nd couldn't come soon enough.
I want to see like whenever the people start realizing
It's June
how pay to win
1st,
was.
2022. Almost 30 million people had pre-registered and were eagerly
Jesus
waiting for
Christ.
the servers to open and to
What? 30? Oh my god, 30 million people pre-registered. 30 million, guys.
30 million people had
Jesus.
pre-registered and were eagerly waiting for the servers to
How
open
bad
and
did
to
you mess
jump
up?
in. And as the clock struck midnight, over 10 million people dove into this brand new Diablo experience.
That's wild. That's wild.
And it was... holy shit, it was good. The graphics looked great, the servers actually worked, the
Yeah.
NPCs were...
This is the reaction that I had, and pretty much almost everyone has. Whenever you start playing Diablo Immortal, you heard how bad the game is, the pay to win, etc., etc., and all these like negativity press that goes around the game, which it is true. It is a very heavy pay to win game. But whenever you download it and you start playing it, the gameplay experience and the first days and the first weeks of playing the game, the progression, how it is actually not bad at all. It's actually, I will say, probably even better than Diablo 4.
familiar and interesting, the controls made sense and were basically perfectly ported to mobile, the gameplay was fun and enjoyable and... oh,
Yeah.
my god. You thought you were descending into a regular old hell, and yet you found yourself in one of the deepest, darkest, corrupt microtransaction abominations you've ever seen. First, you're presented with the beginner's pack, costing just $1 to get some extra eternal orbs
Icebreaker
and a nice
purchase, boys.
cosmetic. I guess that's fair.
800%
Most mobile games have
value.
something called the first purchase policy to entice the player to spend a little bit of money to break
Yep.
that free-to-play barrier.
Yes,
and then
sir.
make them more susceptible to spending more money on the game. Then you're shown a full-blown battle pass and advancement system. Okay, that's also somewhat standardized. Then an exclusive limited one-time chance bundle, also costing just $1. That gives you eternal orbs, crests, and
Oh
normal
my God.
gems. And then more and more of that exact same pack, but costing more and more each time. And then new currency after new currency after
Jesus.
new currency. And that's only just the first layer of this deep winding hell. You see, those crests mentioned earlier are used to buff the rewards you get from completing dungeons, or Elder Rifts. The more crests and the higher level the crest you pour into a rift, the better the rewards and stats your party will receive. So then, as you can imagine, these crests became the central focus of progression within the game. Especially since you can add up to 10 at one time, which the game didn't even tell you about until you've already added 3 to one rift. The kicker is, you can buy exactly 10 of these crests with premium currency bought with real-life money for $25.
What? Ooh. Huh? Wait a second. A 10 legendary crest pool is $25? Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Thank god I'm a free-to-play, boys. Holy
And
moly.
since rifts only took around 5
That's
minutes, meaning
crazy.
you could complete around 10 an hour, to maximize efficiency and loot rewards, that's $250.
Yeah, so minus $250, which is pretty much, you know, the same price as the new cosmetic, the new Phantom cosmetic price in 2025, right? Yeah, so this is like we came full circle. We went back then, you could get like 100 Elder Rifts. Now, with the $250, you can only get a Phantom cosmetic skin, chat.
Dollars per hour. And the game was virtually impossible to progress without this
Oh wait, there was a limit that you could only do 100 crests per hour? I didn't know that. Maybe they removed that nowadays?
single mechanic, as almost half a year's worth of free-to-play grinding could be bypassed by doing one 5-minute 10 legendary crested rift. Oh yeah, and those rewards are randomized, and took some people over $10,000 worth of legendary crests.
Look at that, Queen 69 with a $22,000 spent in just the first few days. Then as a Giga Chat, I think it refunded everything.
to get the actual item drop they wanted, if they even ever did at all. And since these rifts required gameplay to beat, they legally weren't considered as loot boxes, despite them functionally serving as one, meaning Blizzard wasn't legally required to display drop rates. And a game where randomized loot boxes that are purchasable with real money highly impact your actual gameplay and progression is called a gacha game, categorizing them as virtual gambling. And this was the core of Diablo Immortal's gameplay.
So, oh, there's our boy. Look at our boy right there. Like, do you guys think that we're gonna appear? That'll be crazy. If they put your boy in there also on the video, that'll be crazy. But that's the thing, chat. Even if you think that you're not playing a gacha game because you're not playing with big boobas anime characters, you are playing a gacha game. It's just like instead of big booba, you have like some demons and some other cool cosmetics, right? Echo caught in 4K. Yeah, the naughty boy pulling those elder
To
crests.
such an extent that it made actual gacha games like Genshin Impact or Clash Royale look like a playground. Yikes. So how's that PvP going? Play a few matches, you run into him. Finally feel pressure to buy some crests to get some
Richer than you. So true.
gems and upgrade your gear, you only get a few rounds of victory before matchmaking kicks in and pairs you up against other people who've bought crests. And now you're with him.
Son of a billionaire.
So you buy more, and more, and more.
Oh, man.
Because no matter how much you spend, there will always be someone who spent more.
Always,
And
boys.
matchmaking can't measure skill while it's too busy measuring someone's wallet. But hey, at least you can't just straight up buy overpowered equipment since you have to go through that whole randomized crest system. Oh wait, you can? You can just pay to progress the pass system in general to get the included free legendary weapon that comes with every season earlier than everyone else? It was like they were building a Thanos gauntlet of all the scummy ways for a mobile game to make
The
money.
boom of plenty,
Next
boys.
you're gonna tell us that there's even a whole cosmetic draw system that gets progressively more expensive with every time you draw. Seriously?
Yes, sir. And this video, it probably took him a bunch of weeks. If he knew that now, instead of $170, is actually $250.
That upon first kill awards, even more daily
Oh,
login
man.
rewards, advancement systems that cost even more money, a literal level wall where you could simply no longer progress without pouring weeks upon weeks into leveling up, or hundreds upon hundreds of dollars into crests and gear, and other entirely broken systems like everything just mentioned only counting towards one character and not the entire account, meaning you'd have to spend several thousands of dollars per character. The entire gaming community was left speechless.
And that's one of the reasons why I think like this game is actually not alt friendly at all, man. And thank God they actually have the class switching feature, like whenever you go into the city and you can change to any class every 24 hours. Otherwise, like probably you will be stuck into just like playing one class all the time. Maybe it actually could be good for you, but imagine like you're a pay-to-win player. You go, you create a barbarian, and you spend like $5,000 just to know that barbarian now is actually sucking so badly as a character. And after you spend all that money, you will go insane. So that's why they created like the class changing.
This was single-handedly the most absurd microtransaction pay-to-win hell that anyone had ever seen, with headlines calling it predatory, and hardcore fans in the forums recommending you to just go play Diablo 3 instead. Then there's the absurdly priced cosmetic shop, the same daily chores over and over, insanely oppressive UI, and a whole bunch of connection and performance issues that made the game infuriating.
I will say something. Whenever you play Diablo Immortal, and Diablo Immortal is the only game that you're playing right now, you kind of get used to the how bad certain things are, including like the menus and the interface. I'll just challenge you to actually go and go play a PC game just try it out. Just go play a new PC game and you will be able to see the difference whenever you come back. How certain things is just like you just got used to. You just got used to. It doesn't mean like they are good. It doesn't mean you just got used to it because they are so bad, including like these dailies and especially like those menus, man. I hate those menus. I hate the fact that whenever you are playing Diablo Immortal, it looks like a mobile game because it has like all these menus, all these like red dots like on your face, all those pop-ups. I just hate those things. But over time, I just got used to it. But the first time I started playing Diablo Immortal, I remember that it annoyed me the hell out of it because I just came from Diablo 4.
Oh, and just like nothing properly worked on PC, most of it still had the same UI and features meant for mobile devices. It was bad. The game was already worse than what anyone could have ever expected. And we haven't even gotten to the worst part. You see, those crests from before were initially only thought to have two variants, normal and legendary. But when you completed a legendary rift and went to sell your newfound gems on the market, you couldn't. They were bound. This goes for all legendary crests found throughout the game, except if you bought them straight from the in-game currency bought with real money. Those crests were entitled Eternal Legendary Crests, and were the only way to get sellable legendary gems for the in-game market, meaning all legendary gems on the market were from players who paid to play the game.
Oh, there's Fizzy! Isn't this guy like the whale of Abo? He's always there to giving Abo like hundreds of dollars, man. What a good, like, this guy is such a good guy, man. Yeah, guys, like Fizzy is the GOAT, man. Like we definitely also need him here on the stream.
The game, letting whales solely control a central part of Diablo's in-game economy. And there wasn't even a UI slot for them yet. They were entirely a secret. Yeah, welcome to hell. As you can imagine, the community wasn't happy. Numbers were being thrown around online of just how much it would cost to fully max out your character. The most common answer, $110,000. So working a minimum wage job? Great, you'll have to do that for about 10 more years before you can even max out your character in a mobile game. But some news outlets went on to claim that a single character could even cost as high as $500,000, depending on your luck with those undisclosed drop rates. And while the total number of how much it'd cost to max an immortal character is still widely unknown, a single player alleged that he did actually spend over $100,000.
JTL business, boys. 100, but these, you have to understand, you have to go back in time to 2023 whenever it was only guys 100,000. We are in 2025. 100,000 will not even be close for you to max out your account. Not even close.
On a single character over the course of a year, and became so overpowered that the PvP system stopped letting him into matches for months because there were simply no opponents in his power level, leaving him with nothing more to do but beg for a refund. Diablo Immortal was in absolute shambles. Immediately, Blizzard would—
Did he got his refund? I don't think he did, right? I absolutely don't think he did. But maybe he got like a bit of his. I just don't know. I don't think he did, right? No way. Not even 100K is enough to max. No way. Not even close.
Was met with riots, boycotting, mass internet hysteria, the overall renouncing of the game's name, and even threats of a class action lawsuit over a bait-and-switch case with one of their bundles containing a gem with a wildly false description of what it actually did. Diablo had gone from a game that revolutionized the industry to one that infinitely tarnished the morals and values of the gaming space.
That was a great video. The Diablo Immortal from...
so what exactly happened during those 4 years of development?
Josh.
Back in
Greed happened,
2018,
chat.
Blizzard wanted to build a new Diablo from the ground up. They'd seen the success of the growing mobile gaming industry, and they've got an idea. They grabbed their decade-long Chinese publisher, who are already known throughout the mobile gaming industry, and they get to work. NetEase provides their special mobile Messiah engine, does some asset conversions from Diablo 3, provides some basic MMO templates, and dips. Blizzard is left to develop the rest of the game, but they end up going through some issues. Firstly, the reception. Fans were not happy with the mobile announcement, and Blizzard goes into panic mode. Time to figure out how to plug a controller and keyboard into a phone. Then in 2019, the global pandemic hits. Time to work from home. Then in 2021, Blizzard's parent, Activision, is hit with a wave of sexual assault, gender discrimination, and
These was so bad, man. I remember like this phase. I used to watch like Asmongold, and it was like every day there was like some new drama, man, regarding like those people that used to go to the fridge to steal from like the breastfeeding milk. That's insane.
general misconduct allegations, resulting in mass staff walkouts and layoffs. Time to not do that. And in 2022, Blizzard and NetEase get into a little disagreement over some undisclosed disclosures, leading to both companies promptly terminating their contract, accompanied by a long legal dispute, ending in NetEase publicly destroying their famous World of Warcraft orc statue outside of their office with literal sledgehammers.
What?
And a drink. Despite all of that, Blizzard pumps out a pretty decent mobile MMO, but it wasn't mobile enough, and they were running out of time. So they take a look at the market. All of the new hit games have this fancy new thing called a battle pass. Add that to the alphas, and to no surprise, it's also a hit. So they hit copy and paste a few thousand times, throwing in a few extra progression enhancers to make gameplay easier. Also a hit. One big issue, those alpha players only got a few months to play the game, and never got to see how these purchases would impact the economy and PvP aspects long term. But Blizzard was already on a roll. Mobile gamers love
So I remember like watched like these the Rex video like many years ago. That he was one of like the core parts of like testing Diablo Immortal. He spent hundreds of hours like just testing, you know, the alpha version, giving feedback of how can you actually make like Diablo Immortal good. And during all this time that they had these alpha testers, there was no microtransactions whatsoever. So people were actually getting the idea that Diablo Immortal was gonna be like, you know, just the same way as like Diablo 3 was, but on the mobile. And they knew that maybe they're gonna bring like some cosmetics or something like that to monetize in the future, but not attached to player progression, right? Not pay to win. Whenever they came, like everything went to shambles, man.
cosmetics too, right? Add those. Crests are annoying to grind. What if you could just buy those too? It's a mobile game. Nobody has time to actually play a mobile game. What if you could just buy everything?
Yeah, what if we just buy scraps, gold dust? You know, like what if we just buy everything? Like there's no need to do anything in this game. You just buy them. Like nobody has time to play video games anymore. You just go there and you buy it. Time is money, right?
And by the time that Blizzard realized that they have absolutely no clue how to develop a mobile game, they had already released it. Blizzard was an outsider to the mobile industry, misunderstood the fundamentals of how these systems worked, and built one of the most initially horrid mobile abominations to ever grace game stores around the world. It wasn't some outside corporation corrupting a stand-up company. This was a homegrown eldritch horror. And this misunderstanding has been evident from the very beginning.
This was a great video, man. Like I feel like one of the things, like the core of the game, it is actually not that bad as we already discussed, but there are like so much monetization into it that to a point that even though I enjoy to play Diablo Immortal, even though that you know, I have like hundreds of hours already in this game, I just cannot support the pay to win aspect, man. I can't. So I don't think I'll ever like spend money in this game, because doesn't matter if it's like Diablo Immortal or other game, I just cannot ever support like this mobile practice. So really good video right here from like Glad to be 1000, like a great one. Just go there, give him a like and subscribe if you still didn't.